Aloha. I wanted to do a quick video and try this new little app that I got, see if it works, but also really just reference and kind of jump out the last video I was talking about the United Nations and the relation to the flat earth agenda, the orchestrated agenda of awakening, and really kind of just line up my observation of these headpieces that are out there, and how things are being manipulated to feel a certain way, and how this very definite, it's even called hive mind for the awakened, how these shifts in consciousness are happening on an organic level, and also happening or being the strings are being pulled on like an artificial level, and this is coming down from these controllers who mean to maintain control, or maintain some level of control, or do some sort of controlled demolition, maybe because they're scared of what might happen, the backlash of everything, so they have to like release this information slowly, or how I'm seeing it and how I'm addressing it right now is that they really have to put out something for people to grab onto, just like after Bush they put out Obama, so people can believe in the system and also shut their mouths. So it's just be like, oh yeah, like, oh, because everybody was talking, like I was thinking things were really going to change for like some really heavy duty stuff back when Bush was just so bad, and I was thinking like, man, like this dude is actually a president, like this dude is really the president, and people don't talk about that stuff anymore. We're talking about Trump today, but when you really put George Bush up in videos next to Donald Trump, we've already pretty much had a Donald Trump as president when you factor in some of the little stuff that Bush was talking about. But I'm kind of getting off. Anyway, my point being is that this hive mind is being orchestrated to kind of coddle the organic awakening that is happening within our blood, within our communities, within our awareness of each other, and our connections with the earth plane itself, and our connections with the stars and our ancestors. All of this stuff is happening on an organic level. At the same time, the old system is meaning to maintain their some level of control and some level of orchestrated engagement, also with playing with your emotions, and keeping people in this kind of codependent state of being by playing all these race talks that they got going on. Like the fact that Hillary Clinton is out there talking about CP time, this just happened like a couple days ago, or yesterday or today, whatever it was. Like, this stuff is not a joke. I mean, it's not a joke, but I meant to say this stuff is not a mistake. This stuff is all planned for Black Lives Matter to be coming out right now, for the way it's being presented. That's what I mean. Like, it's being manipulated on the news itself, the mainstream, the television, the social media, that stream of information and thought. That is a hive mind itself. It is very orchestrated in a way that is being played right now to sell an agenda, just like TED Talks on here is very definitely selling a transhumanism agenda, and they're very definitely selling the whole this whole idea of what your consciousness should look and feel like, that what your shift should look and feel like. And they have these banned TED Talks like Rupert Sheldrake and I can't remember the other guy who they actually speak on consciousness and what's going on in that space, but the TED Talks banned them. So there's this whole like subtle like mixture layers of what's going on. But I wanted to address the whole system, the system as a whole, and kind of reference like what they're saying is this is what it is, and they have these websites that are out there like Films for Action, True Activists, like you can see Spirit Science, Sustainable Human. They're all sharing good, relevant information that we can use for ourselves as if we empower ourselves. But that's the whole point. This information is being sold a certain way at certain timings, along with like the Bernie Sanders and the Russell Brand and Killer Mike and backing up Bernie Sanders and Leonardo DiCaprio going on the United Nations talking about peace. It's all a timing. They're all like using this timing of consciousness, this timing of information to very definitely lock it in. Like true activists, they want you to fight. They need people to fight the system in order for the system to stay alive. And this orchestrated hive mind is being coddled on the positive and negative frequency to sell these agendas, and they're going to give these little doggy biscuits of cannabis and fixing little things like the school system here and there, which is indoctrination. So if they're going to fix this stuff, you're like 100 meet America's first school districts to serve 100% organic meals. These meals, okay, these meals are being organic, but the information that they're getting is genetically modified information. This is my main point. Like these things are being addressed and not being addressed, and these websites like the ones I referenced down below, because this website pulls from all those websites. But the main thing is these websites, these so-called alternative news sites, just like TYT is pushing Bernie Sanders and the whole democratic socialist idea of change. So they orchestrate your change. So that's the political version. TYT is like the political version. These new age so-called conscious versions, they orchestrate the change that the new agers or the younger generation or whoever's on that stream of thought are going to connect with and resonate with. Just like some people are going to resonate with channelers and Cryon directly connected to the UN, and they start coming out with this whole like flat earth talk, and because there's going to be a stream of thought of people who are going to be connecting to politics. Some people are going to connect to NASA and science and the professors in the university system. Some people are going to connect to race relays and stuff. Some people are going to connect to cannabis. Some people are going to connect to the news, and some people are going to connect to like psychedelics and all this other stuff. And some people are going to be angry, so they're going to bring out this whole like Snowden is out there to sell information on like the underneath the undertones about what's going on, like in probably with the alien agenda stuff and that whole stream, however they're going to use it. They have these headpieces out there to sell these titles. So like Neil deGrasse is out there to lead up the counter attack on the university system. For real, play this Angry Orchard thing on my video, and I hope it's quick. Anyway, so I can turn that down. So I'm not gonna stop this video. I'm just gonna keep going. So yeah, now Neil deGrasse Tyson was out there to stop the whole flat earth talk, and also like bump it up at the same time. so he can create this sense of power in himself, and the system itself, and also get the foundation going for, you know what you know what the agenda, what's on the agenda. So Cryon's on the agenda. He's at the United Nations already. Hillary Clinton's out there to sell one idea of politics, like that kind of politician. Bernie Sanders is the other politician. She's pumped up by the mainstream. SpaceX is out there to sell out the new NASA version of space, like whatever they're gonna bring in for space. Like, in order to get you to give your money, you got to send your money to these controllers, or whatever the next system is. They're gonna corporatize it in some kind of way. So when they implode, which is what's already happening right now with the flat Earth information stream, when they implode NASA, they gotta have a backup for NASA. So SpaceX, and this is why SpaceX is so big right now. This is all about timing. Everything is on a clock. 2012, they knew what was going on. They knew it was going to happen. 9/11 was like a clock in itself for that to happen. They knew when the internet was released what was going to happen, the time frames from 5 and 10 and 15 years after that. All of this is very orchestrated, and they have to have these people out there to sort of dampen out the fire, and control this fire that is happening within the human design itself. This awakening, these energies that are being naturally, organically expressed within our observing, our awareness of our reality, and engaging in that space, have to be kind of like it's just an orchestration. So like De Niro, you trust this dude, you like his movies, you've seen his interviews on late night talk shows, you hear he has a kid who's 18 years old who's autistic, and he's already had some talk about like closing down this documentary about vaccines and their relations to autism. And then after that, he goes on the Today Show talking about, oh yeah, well I regret that act of stopping that documentary, and I really want to talk about, vaccines and its relation to autism. But regular people have been saying this for years, and it's not being paid attention to until somebody that's why I said it's the timing of this all, until somebody of any kind of relevance. This is where they're saying, when these people are on there, change doesn't happen until it affects certain people. Like these vaccines, they want to talk about vaccines because Robert De Niro his kids are being affected today. But what about the vaccines, the millions and millions of vaccines that are being pumped out by Bill Gates in Africa right now, and that whole scene that's been going on for years, and that whole connection. So this is why I say it's very important to see how, not necessarily what's happening, but how what is happening is happening. It's the how of all this stuff, because there's timing involved, and very it's important. So Leonardo DiCaprio, what's Leonardo DiCaprio? What's Jack Dawson from Titanic doing at the UN talking about peace in 2014? Like, what is all this stuff that's going on? This is an orchestrated program. What's Hermione Granger from Harry Potter doing at the UN, speaking on gender rights, gender equality? So these are things that are happening all on cue. It's a big movie, and we are just watching it on the news as a movie, as if it were real. but this is a movie being played out right now, and they're gonna call it the awakening. They're gonna call it the whatever, the expression of God consciousness in the human experience. They're gonna use these channelers to bring in that depth, that connection to those higher vibrations, and sell that to people. At least that's how I'm seeing it right now. And these mid-level trustees like Hermione Granger and Jack Dawson from the Titanic, who, you Gilbert Grape's gonna sell you, like, you trust these people. They're gonna sell you various layers of it. So as they're talking about race relations and the bankers and stuff, they gotta reference the patriarchal system itself and what it has done to the divine feminine as a whole. So they have to talk about feminine rights and what's happened. So they have these people who look at you with these eyes and just like, this is stuff we got to talk about, like this is this whole like triggering your emotional body, because they've been beating down the physical body for so many years that now they have to go into the emotional body and then sell you the next layer up from that, which is like the astral etheric bodies, the casual bodies, that whole they're gonna sell every layer beyond the physical space to promote fear and to sell love at the same time. So we get caught up in such a codependent state of being that we just give our movement away, give our mind away to a hive mind that they're referencing as this shift in consciousness. So if we do it on our own, which is already happening right now, then that will be we have to empower ourselves outside of the codependent state of being to realize what it is to actually inhabit that space of being collectively conscious, rather than being in a space of codependency to where others are dictating what it is that we're doing and what it is our movement is. So yeah, so they're the Emma Watson, Leonardo, De Niro, SpaceX, Hillary out here looking make an ass out of herself. She's supposed to be in jail, all the shit she didn't been doing. Cryon at the United Nations. This dude, man, he on here. The whole university system as a whole has to be addressed, and they have to have these front men out there to play like the protagonist and the antagonist at the same time. Bernie Sanders, you already know what he's selling. Trump, you already know what he's selling. But my main focus right now, which is very important, is for people to see the algorithm of the new age manipulation and how that's going to be sold to our emotional body and our connection with our higher selves. It's very important to see and connect it to the whole flat earth and the ancestors. Never forget the ancients, of the old stuff that's happened here. This whole space of forgiveness and the new age ideas of compassion are going to be amplified to hide the wrongdoings that has happened as a result of the control grid. And it'll be like a cloud that's sold to individuals or the collective as a whole to just kind of just wash everything away. We're all one. It's all one human race. There is no separation. It's just all of us here together in oneness. Let's just be human. And anybody who says anything counter to that, you're an asshole. Like, something's wrong with you. But it's not necessarily counter to it when you are taking into account the lack of justice and recognition of what has happened within this time frame that has led up to this, because we are so thirsty for change that we'll just like welcome anything good, anything that even smells good. It can't just smell good, it has to feel good at the same time and resonate on every layer. If it just feels good on certain layer and smells good on certain layers, then we can fall into another trap. And other people are going to fall into other traps too, because they're needing that. We are needing that. And the only thing that we need can be provided from us as a whole ourselves, not from an external provider, which is what this whole design is based upon, this whole control grid. So I'll leave it there. And what the hell? Thank you for joining me. And until next time, peace, love, and harmony.